guys are having a good day. Apparently, I managed to forget to do something important, which is to untangle the cable which connects my camera. So, if you guys will wait a little bit, I will get that fixed. There we go. Have you guys seen the conversation that Arch had with the communists? It was very lovely, very insightful. All of the leftist memes were accomplished. He spoke for 10 minutes as an introduction. Talks all the time and then goes like, don't interrupt me. And then he proceeds to interrupt the opponent. My favorite part is like a communist going, it's like, well, actually, gatekeeping. Yeah, we're going to argue against it. Like, I'm against gatekeeping. Well, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I am for gatekeeping. I just don't agree with the targets. And it's like, well, there you go. Like, before communists, like, no one gatekept people from these hobbies. In fact, no, there was gatekeeping. Like, if you wanted to play Magic the Gathering or if you were into comic books, women would gatekeep. And they would gatekeep by saying, it's like, why are you playing video games? Those are for children. Why can't you grow up? Like real men, they like soccer, they like drinking beer, and they like driving cars. They don't play video games. Those are for children. When are you going to grow up? So women were the ones that would bully people out of geekdom. They weren't geeks themselves. It was just like, if you're a geek in high school, back when I was a kid, it was considered not cool, unpopular, lame, cringe. So yes, hey V, I have to go to Scat Francisco. I let you know how much poop I see there. You don't have to tell me how much poop you see there. All I have to do is to go on Gulag, and on Gulag you have like these maps that people take. So every time someone goes through San Francisco and they're like, oh, a scat, they go like, tut, tut, tut. Speaking of, there are a couple of news articles that I wanted to talk about this week. Homosexuality was the conversation on Romanian television, and I was like, what? Why are people talking about sex? Like, what is happening? Why is it that the Romanian channel is talking about sex? Well, apparently they fucked in the American Senate, chat. Decency was on the ballot that day. I was told that the adults are back in charge, but when they say the adults were back in charge, I didn't expect that they would do adult movies in the American Senate. And again, like the thing which really baffled me, that gave me the Pikachu expression, isn't the fact that they did the Butsex in the Senate. It is the fact that the Americans are like, well, it's the Democrats. Obviously, they're going to do Butsex in the Senate. Like, that's to be expected. Like, no one is shocked, If you were to tell this to people 10 years ago, it's like, hey, did you know that they did put sex in the Senate? And people would be like, what? Nani? Nani desu ka? Right? Like, they would be shocked. It's like, wow, this would be a scandal. But now it's like, oh, well, it happened, I'm willing to bet if someone went into the Senate, like if a Republican went into the Senate, went to the microphone and said the N-word. But like hard R, PewDiePie level, like arr, arr. All of a sudden, oh, major scandal, oh my god, oh, horrible, the decency, how can we allow it as a society, but my favorite part was that individuals came up, and by the way, thank you Zanathium for the donations. Individuals came up, and they basically said, it's like, well, you only care it because it's but sex. If it was vaginal sex, you'd have loved it. Not in the Senate, though. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, again, wasn't there like a case with Monica Lewinsky and people got upset? Yeah, I think there is this thing that oh God, like, it's called decorum, isn't it? Like if you're a senator, you want people to respect to respect the senators, right? Like if AOC comes up, like AOC walks in the room, you want people to respect her, right? Like, oh, you want people to be like, oh my God, it's AOC, oh, soy face, right? But it goes in a two-way street, really. It's like, if you want respect, you need to show decency in return. So if you're a senator, you have to conduct yourself in a way that the left used to call presidential, right? Like for the president, it's presidential, but for the senators, they need to be a name for that as well. Like, if Donald Trump was doing boot sex in the Senate, do you think the left would be like, well, it's boot sex, so therefore if you complain, you're a homophobe? No, But yes, decency was on the ballot. I love it. Like all of the chants and the slogans, this is what I thought when I saw the news article. Decency is on the ballot. By the way, like, remember when that transgender girl that was invited by Joe Biden in front of the White House and she showed boobies? That was also part of the decency was on the ballot, wasn't it? Or when you had like that person with a bald head and lipstick, which was caught stealing female undergarments in the airport. That was also decency was on the ballot. My fucking god, decency was definitely on the ballot that day. I'm not going to lie. Too bad people didn't vote for it. Arch had a debate with the leftist. Yes, he did. Hi V, hope all is good. Left-winging again. Well, American Outlier, did you know that decency was on the ballot? I bet you didn't. But it was. Too bad people didn't vote for it. Satanic statue. That's another thing, right? Like, how much decency can you get? Like, how much decency can they stuff in 1 year? Because all of this happened in 1 year, didn't it? The year isn't over, so maybe we can get some more decency. So you make a satanic statue. Now, you know, to be fair, the Satanic Temple has been trolling Christians, especially right-wingers. Been trolling them since the inception. Like, that's the whole point with the Satanic Temple, to troll Christians. But notice how the Christian Democrats don't complain. It's like, well, it's a satanic statue. It's like, well, they have a right to. Yeah, sure, they have a right to. You know, just like people have a right to say the N-word. I mean, legally speaking. But shouldn't you be a little bit outraged? You know, not even a. Okay, I see. Right, so Satanism. Great. Hello, Echo Drift. Welcome to the show. This is on the ballot in the EU. We don't really have those types of elections in the European Union, right? It's more like they get anointed. I don't even want to talk about the EU. Like honestly, it's so sad that I am in the EU. Like I wish I was in the United States of A. Like the very fact that they can ban Twitter, like people that I never elected, that I never vote for, can decide what I get and what I don't get to see online. And it's like, well, yes, but Twitter is showing illegal content. And I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck is illegal? Well, someone said that the migrants in Italy is an invasion. Oh, you can't say that. I mean, how can you say that? How can you express that? What if people decide to vote for right-wing governments and they depose us? That's scary, isn't it? I wonder why the World Economic Forum isn't considered illegal, though, huh? Like, why is the World Economic Forum not considered extremists? I mean, besides the fact that they spread conspiracy theories on a daily basis. Like, everything that they advocate for is diminishing the lifestyle of the average citizen. You want to know who hurts minorities? The policies of the World Economic Forum. Unironically, like, whenever they're being applied, it actually hurts minorities. Because it hurts everyone. And minorities are part of the everyone. So, it literally lowers the lifestyle of people. They even flat out say it. You will own nothing and be happy. In other words, you will die without anything, right? You will die with nothing. And it's like, okay, but I guess isn't that a little bit extreme? Is just a little bit, you know? Well, why do they get to talk? My question is, like, what will they be talking about without Twitter? That's also interesting. At least the EU got you to have standard phone chargers. Oh my fucking god. Yes, yeah, I suppose. I suppose we do have to. But soon, you know, we are not going to be able to afford phones, which is fine, because I've been told that at the end of the day, people don't really want to own the phone. Like, you just want to own the function. Like, it doesn't matter if your company owns the phone or if someone else pays for it. You just want the function of it. So, yeah. The most vulnerable minority is the individual. That is correct. V, what state would you like to? Definitely not Texas, though. It's like, I understand, like, Texas is at the border, so it's a little bit problematic there. Florida sounds nice. Yeah, I like Florida. You get crocodiles in Florida, don't you? You get crocodiles there. To be honest, like, I don't really know the American states besides, like, the name. Like, Iowa. What the fuck is in Iowa? A satanic statue. That's what's in Iowa. At least I know that. But other than that, it's like Georgia. Like, what the fuck is in Georgia? Well, clearly not the Russians. They haven't invaded that Georgia yet. But My point is like I don't want to be in a blue state that's like always blue, like forever blue. I wouldn't want to be in a cold place like Alaska either, despite the fact that it had a Ushkushi governor. Um, but no, there's probably nice places in the U.S. Definitely not New York or California. Heaven forbid. No, like ironically, Romania is much better than California, hands down. Like that. I don't fucking get say, oh well, yeah, but it's wealthier. Yeah, sure, but so what if you're wealthy if you can't keep the money? Just so you know, it's like I covered this article today. I haven't uploaded it on my main channel, but just so you know how bad things are in America, okay? Like this is going to shock American outlier as well. I want you to imagine a robbery, okay? Armed robbery. Like that is something that's more American than European, right? It's like armed robbery. Now, when the people were armed robbing, someone stole their getaway car. And when you look at it, the getaway car was also stolen by them. So, like, I just want you to understand, okay? Like 5 individuals decided to steal a car so that they can do an armed robbery. I wouldn't be surprised if the guns were stolen too. But, like, this is the story. So they steal a car to do the armed robbery, and while they're armed robbing, someone else steals their car. I mean, like, dude, when you are at that level, like, or how levels of crime you are, when you have a culture that treats the criminal as a victim of society, then the society becomes the victim. And now it's like the criminal has become a victim as well. No, they stole the getaway car. I wonder, like, if they tried to leave on bicycles, like in GTA, like there's that mission. What GTA was it? GTA 4, where you have like bicycles and everyone gets on a bike. What if like someone stole the bike? Like that would have been funnier. My fucking god, you know, like these things, they only happen in movies. Oh, I will tell you something else that's funny. In Romania, when a crime like that shocks people happens, like that, there's even an expression for it. So imagine this: like you have a crime that goes on national news, and it's horrible, and you will have like the news reporter say, "It happened in the middle of the daylight." In the middle of the day, and they have outrage on their face. It's like the middle of the daylight. In America, like, if you say that a crime happened in the middle of the daylight, they'll be like, and, like, what's the relevance? I mean, it's a crime, right? In a democratic city, I mean, those happen daylight, nighttime, like, they happen 24/7. Crime never sleeps. The city where crime never sleeps, that's California, isn't it? Or New York, which one? If it were to be technically correct, you meaning that Europeans are the minority, so in essence, you are being harmed by EU policies. Well, yeah, but, like... I would say like Europeans are the minority in Europe, right? But you get what I'm saying, and I get what you're saying. The Twitch situation was worse than people realized. They had 5 kids. No, sorry, they had kids as 5-year-olds, partnering with them as streamer. What barriers were in place to protect them? Was CP allowed for 24 hours on Twitch? What? Wait. Hold on. What do you mean they had kids that were 5-year-olds on Twitch? Doesn't Twitch like ban people that are under the age of 13? Now I'm pretty sure that, you know, there are people who lie about their age. But Demo, shkushi, like you just told me something mind blowing. If you want to talk about CPU on Twitch, like the funniest thing that I ever saw was, what's his name? I Show Speed. You guys know I Show Speed? Like he's a black gentleman, very popular, one of the most popular Twitch streamers in the world, right? And recently he was speeding out, so I don't say spurging out. He was speeding out, and he showed meat on the stream. Like there was a pee-pee there. It was black. And he showed it. People measured it. Apparently the stereotype is true. And my first concern when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, how old is this dude? Because if he is 17 If he is 17 and he showed meat on Twitch, that is CP in a lot of countries. Like that. Oh my god. Oh Dios mío. Oh Dios mío. And by the way, like according to the Italian legislation, like if you were on that stream, you are guilty of CP. Like if you see it on your screen, according to the new Italian legislation, right? Like if you see it on your screen, you're guilty. Doesn't matter if you delete it, doesn't matter. Like that, there's nothing you can do. If it's on your screen, if it's like boom, that's it. Turns out he's 18. And I was like, oh my god. That's amazing. It was so close. It was so close. By a couple of months, chat. By a couple of months, he was so close to making so many people criminals. Yeah, he's 18. Yeah. But it was like a couple of months. Like if this would have happened 6 months ago, Jesus. Oh, Dios mío. He then acted like a victim. Dude, like, from what I understand, his father started singing a song about his meat. I mean, that's a little bit muy problemática, but, yeah, it is what it is, you know. I don't think, like, the authorities would prosecute in such a case. Like when you understand that the intent... right, because you got, like, the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. So, like, the letter of the law is like, well, no, like, in that case, 100% CP, there's no way around it. It's like, but the spirit of the law is that the law is to protect children, and obviously, you know, he being an 18-year-old streamer, he didn't want to do it, did it by accident. The people that were watching, they didn't want to see that. So it depends, you know, like, the prosecutor, if they're in a good day or not. Unless it was staged. I don't think it was staged. I saw his facial expression. That was a face of pure horror, shock, and trauma. I genuinely, like, no, unironically, I believe him. I don't think it was staged. The authorities wouldn't do anything unless it became a meme to show his pee-pee to everyone. Yeah. No, obviously, but if you applied the law by the letter, yes, it would have been a problem. Why am I seeing double super chats? Huh? Like the same super chat, I see it twice. It's fucking wild. I hope that YouTube isn't taxing people twice for the same. No, I apparently, like, it shows me twice, but it is one, so it's fine. No, I don't think it's a problem. No, but like regarding 5-year-olds on Twitch, I've never heard about that. Like the age limit for Twitch is 13. So like if you're 12, you can't go on Twitch. I don't even know why it's 13, to be honest. Such a bizarre fucking age. Like it should be 16 or 18. Why is it 13? Should you even be streaming if you're 13? But anyway, right, it does sound weird. I'm pretty sure there may be something into it. I would have to look it up, but yeah, it's probably, as well, for the super chats, I do agree it may be YouTube glitching. YouTube is doing a glitch. What the fuck is messaging me? What does Spoons want? Story for me. He gave me a Twitter link. Let's see what it says. US Steel is now a Japanese company. I'm not joking. It was sold today for $14 billion. The auction of critical companies like this is a national security threat, a threat to the United States workers, blah, 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 blah. Japan, Nippon Steel to buy US Steel. Yeah, I mean, it's 2023. Like, do we have nationalism now? Do we have patriotism? It is what it is. I remember 9-year-old on Justin.tv back in the day. 13, because of that, is the end of middle school. I see. It's so fucking weird. Like, usually it would be 14. In Romania, like at the age of 14, so in Romania, at this age, you get your ID card. And you're considered to be half an adult. Like you get certain rights that you didn't before. You still can't vote, But for example, you can start making contracts. You can consent to certain things with parents' approval. So you start getting like more rights, and then at the age of 18 you become fully adult. I would understand that. Oh, and by the way, you also can go to prison at the age of like you are considered responsible for your crimes. Like up until the age of 14, if you do a crime, you're not responsible. After the age of 14, it's considered that you have a little bit more understanding, but you get half the sentence. So, yeah, 14 would have been, like, more understanding. Why 13, though? And it is what it is. In movies, even at PG-13 movies, you are supposed to have parental guide. Oh, yeah, you Americans, like, have this weird thing with 13. It's so weird. It's like 13 years old. Yeah, PG-13. Yeah, it is a thing. 13. Yeah. Weird. I would say, like, go 16. 16, why 13? No, push it up. The weirdest part though is that in the UK they want to ban what was it? People under 16 from using the internet. And you have like so many right wingers like, oh, that's a good idea. And I think like, okay, so how are they going to implement it? Oh, that's right. They're going to ask you to show ID when you log on the internet and do facial scanning. That's so great, right? Good idea. Good idea. Could it be that the internet for anything other than games was a mistake for under 18? Okay, so unironically, I do think that people under the age of 16 have nothing to do on the internet. But then I've been told that there are individuals in the United States who, like some of my subscribers, they told me, what was it? Oh, yeah. Like their kids went to school and they got iPads. Like, the school gave them iPads. And what do you mean the school gave them iPads? Like, take it away from them. No, they can't, because they have their textbooks there. And they figured out how to circumvent the safety features, right? Because, like, the school has safety features, which basically prevents them from accessing the internet. So even if you're, like, the type of parent that goes like, no, you're not allowed to have a smartphone, the kid is just going to get one from school. So in those situations, like if you're an American and the school gives the kid an iPad, like what are you going to do? How are you going to parent? How are you going to parent? Especially if they know how to bypass the regulation. I guess the only way you can parent would be to turn off your Wi-Fi during the home, right? But like that doesn't stop the kid from taking the iPad outside. Doesn't stop him from going to school and using the internet there. Look at that. Like my daughter got a Chromebook. Just don't have internet at home, I guess. Damn, almost a whole year of buyers, but that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. You can drink in most countries from 18 and up. Dude, like in Romania, unofficially, I think like I drank since I was 9. But again, it's like during Christmas or New Year's, your dad gives you like a little glass of wine. And you're drinking with your family, right? So it's not as shocking here. But in America, like that would be incredibly shocking. Like that scene from Breaking Bad where Walt drinks with his son and gives him like a little glass, and then his son starts puking and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? Like that's not realistic though. Unless like, what were they drinking? Do you think America should lower the drinking age to 18 but raise the voting age to 21? Oh fuck. The drinking age should definitely be lowered to 18. Like that is the most stupid shit that I have ever heard. It's like, okay, so you can join the military at 18. You can shoot people in the military, right? You can become a police officer and stop bad guys, but you can't drink? You can drive a car? You can own a business, but you can't drink? Regarding the voting age, I don't know. I mean, is a person that's 21 much smarter and enlightened than a person that's 18? I think it's the same, right? Like, it's not going to make much of a difference. Disney is losing the copyright to the mouse. Ha ha! I heard it. Sorry. Ha ha! Everything should be 18. I don't know. I mean, it's an arbitrary number. But yeah, fine. You know, like when it comes to drinking age, yeah, it should be 18. Holy shit, American Outlier gave me $100 yesterday. Now I have 150. I'm going to have a happy Christmas. You're making my wife happy. As a libertarian, we would abolish child labor laws. Obviously, children hunger for the mines. But seriously, if you get the kids to work as waiters or shelf stockers and see the government take 30% off their check, the US would be more right-leaning. Okay. The thing with the child labor laws, like a lot of people think that it was legislation that abolished it. But in reality, they stopped being popular. Believe it or not, like most parents don't want their kids working in the mine. So with automation, with the advancement, I guess, in technology, kids just weren't required to work in the mine anymore. So like once a lot of kids stopped working in the mines, then the government passes legislation. It's kind of similar to what's happening in the UK right now with smoking. Like a lot of people just don't smoke anymore, right? Like I'm talking about tobacco. A lot of the new people just don't smoke tobacco, so the government made it illegal, made it edgy again, and I think like the number of smokers is going to rise. But that's basically the idea, right? Things just get unpopular, and eventually like there's a ban against it. But by that point, like you don't really ban anything because like it's just like a moral grandstanding. So regarding kids working, now here's the problem. Back in the 90s, and probably like before that, if you were a kid, you could have like certain jobs. You could like mow your neighbor's lawn. You could carry the newspapers, right? Like you'd go on a bicycle and throw newspapers and shit. So like there were jobs that kids could do. It's like now the immigrants are doing it. Right? Like no one would hire a kid to mow the lawn when there's an immigrant that's willing to do it more professionally. So that's the problem. It's and it was a good thing, by the way, because you would learn how labor is like. Like you would learn how to make an honest living. I suppose like the thing that you can do is like if you have a kid, you could actually make him work for you. You know, like doing various tasks. And then of course you can take a little bit of his check to show what paying taxes is like, and you're going to have a very right-wing individual. 50% of people brain fully developed at 25. 90% at 28. 28, most people finish formal education, worked a few years, started families. Yeah, but like, do you really need a fully developed brain though? I don't believe though that the brain fully develops at 28. I think that's a little bit too extreme for my take. I mean, like, I'm thinking how. And by the way, you say that the brain fully develops at 28. I think I was a lot smarter at 18 than I was at 28. And ironically, what I mean by this is when I was at law school, that was my first university. It was very easy for me to study. Like I would take the textbook and I would study, I don't know, like let's say 5 pages in 1 hour, right? And by study, it means like completely memorizing the thing, understanding the thing, and able to explain it to someone else. And we're talking about like difficult pages, like actual legislation with articles and numbers and shit, right? So I would do like 5 pages in 1 hour. I'm pulling it out of my ass. I don't know the exact time, but like when I was at med school, I was older, and like I would do 5 pages in 2 hours. Now, sure, it was like a different subject, and you know, like memorizing law is different than memorizing medicine. But like I felt a lot more difficult learning just because I was older. Now, if you were to put me to go through med school again, it would be incredibly difficult for me. Probably not impossible. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, you become dumber at a certain age, right? Like, now I'm not sure how it's like with wisdom, right? Because like you accumulate wisdom, and you go through life, you learn more things. But like to memorize stuff, to have patience to do things, to have the intelligence required in order to do logic and stuff like, yeah, I think like it peaks at a certain age and then it starts going down. Like for instance, yeah, like a lot of people relearn algebra at 44, but that's not my point. My point is like if you learn a new language when you're 18, right? It's very easy. Because I learned English and German when I was 18. It was very easy. But if you were to ask me to learn a new language now, oh my fucking god, Jesus Christ. I mean, I could do it, but it would be like the worst chore imaginable. Oh, of course, like, dude, like about high-level math. Let me show you. This is not like necessarily due to the fact that you get dumber as you age, so it's not what we're talking about. But like these things, right? Like I remember like solving these things, and at the time they were really easy. To me, the funniest shit was when people were saying that Greta Thunberg is just a child. She's but a child. She doesn't understand. How can you debate her? How can you debate a child? She's a child. She's 7 fucking teen. She was 7 fucking teen. I was doing this shit at 15, I think. Let me think. Yeah, it was like, yeah, the complex numbers with trigonometry, I think it was like 15, 16, that age. And I was doing this shit. Isn't she? No, she was skipping school. Of course she wasn't doing this shit. But now that I'm looking at it, I have no fucking idea what it means. I have no fucking clue. Like, what the fuck is this? What? No. Right? But like when I was 15, I was doing these things. They seem pretty banal, pretty simple. But the reason that I don't know how to do them now is because I haven't practiced. If you don't practice, you forget how. But I'm pretty sure if I was to pick math again, right? If I pick the textbook again and I start from scratch, and I go with grade 1 equations, grade 2 equations, okay, let's go with real numbers, or I'm moving to complex numbers. Fuck. And then you realize that, oh, okay, so it is doable. Because obviously it's not fucking magic, but this is not necessarily with having to do with age. It's more to do with the fact that if you don't use something, if you don't do something, you forget how to do it. I know they're fucking integrals. Jesus. I don't know how to solve them. We lose neuroplasticity. Oh my fucking god, another word that... Used it weekly in engineering. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you use it weekly in fucking engineering, you're going to remember it. They're useless in normal day-to-day life. Yeah, they are, which is why I don't understand why you study them. That's why I don't get. Everyone, well, if you go to engineering, well, yeah, if you go to engineering, fucking study them then. You know, like if you're an engineer, I'm sure you need them. Though now you have ChatGPT, it can probably calculate them for you. I'd rather learn integrals than matrix stuff. Well, you had to learn everything, didn't you? You had to learn the matrix stuff as well. I don't know. When I was a kid, I just could learn other languages. Yeah. Same. So that's my point. You know, like people say, oh, your brain fully develops at... Oh, fuck off. I don't even understand what your brain fully develops means. What I do know, however, when I was a kid, I would learn things a lot more easier. I was actually, I would say I was smarter, yeah. Smarter in the sense of logical and complex problem solving. Like, I'm still smart now, but I think if I was to compete with myself when I was younger, I think the younger me would probably win. However, I'm more wise now. Like, I have deeper understanding of things, especially, like, when it comes to philosophical things. Like, I have a lot more insight on how people are going to behave. I can predict certain things that I didn't predict them when I was younger. So it's not like really a unified thing, like you're older and you're quote-unquote smarter. I think you're better in some things and worse in others. Start a segment to teach you Latin. Jesus, do you think I remember it? I remember some words in Latin. In fact, I'm willing to bet if someone spoke Latin, I would probably understand and be able to translate it, but like, to speak it fluently, no. I couldn't learn languages, V. My brain just didn't work that way. It was very frustrating, especially when I had no choice. It's probably the way they teach language that's the problem. Like, they force you to learn a lot of grammar and useless shit in the beginning. I didn't learn English from school, by the way. I didn't learn German from school. I learned English and German from watching cartoons on television. Like, unironically, like, when they start going with, like, oh, the grammar, like, this is like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off. You know, no one learns that. Think about it. This is why I hate the school system. The way they're teaching. When you have a kid, right? Like, you fuck your wife. You fuck your wife, and now she's pregnant, and she gives birth to a kid. Do you start teaching it grammar? Do you go like, all right, well, let's talk about the present tense, the if clause and shit? No, you start teaching it words. And then the kid listens to you speak, and eventually it sounds right. Isn't that correct? Isn't that? But no, like in school, it's like, all right, well, let's talk about the if clauses, and let's talk about the, what is it, like, future, past tense, blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. And it's so fucking boring, isn't it? Like, that's the problem. Like, seriously, if they were like, okay, let's teach English to people. All right, let's read a comic book. Let's read a manga, actually, because comic books are shit. Let's read manga. Let's do something fun in English. Let me read you some Shakespeare. Let me read you some Macbeth. Let me show you an actress that played in Macbeth and she had big tits. Like, that would actually stimulate kids to learn. That would actually be cool. Instead, it's like, oh, let's talk about grammar. Grammar today. Conjugate the verb. Conjugate. Fuck off. No one learns like that. You're not even supposed to learn a language like that. I'm not a fucking Philistine. Dude, when you have a kid, if you teach your kid English by starting with the grammar, I will be fucking impressed. Growing up elementary and middle school, our local bank had academic incentives. All A's report card was $25. If AB, it would be $50. Few people didn't like me. So it's really interesting. See, the thing in Romania, we don't have like financial incentives, but we do have like public education. The thing is, it's not like the United States where like everyone gets a diploma. No. Like if you want public education and you don't want to pay for it, you need to get full A's in high school, right? So everyone gets like tries to get as higher grades as they can, and then there's this like the BAC exam, which is like a very difficult exam, and then based on the grade you get there, mixed with the grade that you took during high school, decides if you go to a university or not. Now, the people who don't want to study and are lazy fucks, they go to something like philosophy, social studies, you know, that type of shit. And they get really upset if you trash talk their university. Oh my god, it's like, oh my philosophy, it's an important subject. Oh, history, how can you trash talk history? Simple, I just did. The ones that do study, they go to math, psychology. Jesus, so hold on. Math, med school, law school, you know, the hard shit. Psychology is another useless degree. Fucking hell. I would even say that if you go to a religious university, like you go to the Orthodox Church University, that's more difficult and useful than psychology. Fucking hell, psychology. Jesus fucking Christ. And the thing is, like, they will go, it's like, no, it's a real thing. I'm not saying it's not a real thing. Well, first of all, actually, you know what? I would say it's not a real thing. But the problem is, like, I had friends that went to psychology, and I looked at what they were studying, and they were complaining and whining, oh my god, it's so hard, show me what you got. And they would show me, it's like, why can't you get an A+ on this? It's so fucking easy. Like, I can study this on my lunch break. It's like an appendicitis for a surgeon. You know, like a surgeon goes, okay, I got a lunch break, let's do an appendicitis. Like, quick, in and out, wham bam. Fucking hell. Take that back, I use psychology in program. It's fucking easy. It's like saying you use the ABCs. What is the difficulty in memorizing that? Shouldn't even be a university. It's high school level. Garbage. Use this fucking guy. Do you want to know why I think psychology is garbage? I will tell you why I think psychology is garbage. I don't believe that there is a single person on earth right now that can go to a psychologist and not get diagnosed with some shit. Like that's their job, to diagnose you so they can sell pills. I don't think that there is a person that a psychologist can consider normal. If they're going to look at you, they're going to find you with some shit. Oh, it's a kid. What does it do? It's a little bit too energetic. Okay, ADHD. Oh, it's a kid. What does it do? It gets angry. Oh, bipolar. They have a name for literally every fucking thing. Some fucking disorder, some fucking nonsense. It's like, okay, like I do understand that there are people that generally suffer from stuff. But when you make the definition so encompassing, so large, so like literally everyone suffers from a thing now. And it's like, come on, like it's blatantly obvious what you're fucking doing. You want people to keep coming to your office so you can charge them. That's what you want, right? You want recurring customers, so it's in your fucking interest to tell people that they have some shit so that they can return to you. Did I see Countdown Class video? No. What pills for people diagnosed as Republicans? Okay, so you have the patient coming in and he's like, and we call this the Great Anxiety Crisis. Right? So you have the patient, yeah, the Great Anxiety Crisis, and then you give him a pill, and the patient is like, right? That's what. That's psychiatry, though. That's not psychology. Hello, my channel. Welcome. I don't want to medicate kids into zombies. Did you know there was a school in the United States recently apparently was medicating children without telling the parents? It's very progressive. What about public healthcare psychologists? They don't have the same incentive. No, they have the incentive to sell pills. You're just lazy and want to dismiss a whole field with an easy logic. Yes, literally. I'm dismissing a whole fucking pill. Do you know what I would promote? I would promote, and I said this on other streams, by the way. Members of religious communities. I don't fucking care which. Okay, like pick your poison. You want Jews? Like go to a rabbi. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Rabbis, imams, priests, anything, right? Like these spiritual pastors. Do you know what they do? People go to them and they're like, oh my god, I have sinned. What happened? I had a fight with my wife. And then they give you an advice. Now, those people aren't paid by you, right? Like they're paid through donations or they're paid by the community or whatever the fuck. They don't want you. They really don't. They want you to shut the fuck up. And they know that they can't tell you that. So they actually have to give you good advice so you stop visiting them. Like they want you to sit in your fucking bench at the church and listen to them preach. That's what they want. They don't want you to go there and talk about your wife. They don't want you to go there and talk about shit. So they're going to give you good advice so you shut the fuck up. And by the way, like their university studied as well. Like most of them, like the Orthodox priests, for instance, they go to a university, they study shit. The philosophy of Christianity is thousands of years old. Like even if you don't believe in Jesus, someone wrote that. So there we go. They're paid for by the tax exempt. Well, okay, so the government doesn't steal from them. That doesn't mean they're paid. Okay? It's just like the government chooses not to steal from them. In my opinion, everyone should be tax exempt. Not just the church. Can't exercise as schizoid. Like the thing is, a person that's suffering from schizophrenia wouldn't, like they get help from a psychiatrist. It's a different profession. I would have negative things to say about psychiatrists as well, but like the psychologists come first. Like I like the progressives on Twitter where they're like, oh my fucking god, my anime, oh My Hero Academia shows 16 years old. Meanwhile they have no criticism to say about cooties, right? So like no, I'm not like them. I'm actually criticizing the worst problem first. I think you view priests too cynically. Good. You should view everything cynically. Why would you view anything not cynically? Everything should be viewed from a cynical lens. Priests nowadays are required to study psychology. Well, hopefully not too much. Hopefully not too much. Just a little bit. Orthodox Jewish people declare their houses as places of worship. Changes the property tax. Oh my fucking... We should do that, though. We should do that. We should start the church. Wasn't university invented by... Who fucking cares? You know, like I hear about the genetic fallacy that leftists use a lot. It's like, well, the police was racist 400 years ago. Who fucking cares? Like the way it used to be back then is not the way it's now. That's so Eastern European. I know it. He's Eastern European as well. He's from Constanza. Making me ashamed. Imagine a European, imagine a Romanian not thinking cynically. Fuck is wrong with you? Start Romanian properly, like myself. I'm on your naughty list, you're Santa. Well, Santa doesn't come here. The left, when they find out that morality originates from religious beliefs. But what if religious beliefs originate from morality? Did you think about that? To be honest though, like if you think about it, almost every morality originates from religious beliefs, but religious beliefs often are very different and collide with one another, so that doesn't really say much. I don't think religion is just a set of moral rules. I think it's a little bit more complex than that. The chicken and the egg, yeah. Well, the thing with religion is like the one... okay, so first of all, when you say religion, like which one, right? Because obviously like Islam and Christianity are very different. But most people will say, well, Christianity. Which denomination? I mean, a couple of decades ago, you had Protestants and Catholics killing each other with bombs and shit. So you have that, right? Like now you have to pick the denomination. Okay, you pick the denomination. In which time? Like Orthodoxy today, or Catholicism today, is very different than the Catholicism 200 years ago. Like recently, the Pope just is going to bless people from same-sex couples, right? So like, he had transgender people in the Vatican. This is Catholicism now. Do you think it's the same like it used to be 100 years ago? Right? So my point is, it's like when you say like morality comes from religion, which one? Which denomination? Which timeline? I'm not saying religion is bad, but like to have it so simplified. I think like morality shapes religion though. I think the Pope is progressive because like progressivism is in vogue now. But 100 years ago he wouldn't be progressive. And then there was like, well, you say he's the Antichrist Pope. I get it, you know, he's a little bit more progressive than I like. But take into account there were popes that had orgies in the Vatican. My saying is that it can be worse. People invented religion because of fear of the unknown. I do agree with that. Almost every single religion tries to justify what happens after death. So there's that. For 85% of Earth's history, it has been a greenhouse state. Oh my god. Environmentalism is like, okay, greenhouse state. What the fuck is that? What is a greenhouse? What is a state? I don't fucking know. Glaciers. When do I talk about glaciers? It doesn't work like that. Like trying to justify the environment, whether it's for or against. Like, let's be fucking honest. Like, most people don't even know what a glacier is. The way you should do it is you should point out that, okay, well, even if it's true and even if it's man-made, how the fuck are the people flying in yachts, traveling in yachts and flying in private jets going to be the ones that fix the environment for us? That is a better question, you know, or you point out that list which went all the way 100 years ago, and every single 10 or 20 years the world is ending because of some killer bees or something, right? Like, that's how you talk with people. You don't say, oh, well, it's like the glaciers, and who the fuck you care? Oh, the greenhouse gas, no one knows what that is. Yeah, like literally, the argument should be, if the world is ending, the leaders are definitely not trying to stop that. Which pope had orgies? Wasn't it like the Borgia? Hold on, I'll ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will say. I think it was the Borgias or some shit. I forgot the name. God damn it. I'm not good with names, chat. I'm really not. Sargon is really upset that I don't remember names in his fucking campaign. It's loading. Give me a second. Which pope had orgies in the Vatican? So apparently there are allegations. So we don't know for sure. Pope Alexander VI, his given name was Rodrigo Borgia. I told you, I did say it was the Borgias. Served from Pope from 1942 to 53. His papacy was indeed marked by controversy, and he has been subject to numerous historical accounts and depictions, some of which allege moral and political misconduct. Again, when you talk about shit that happened in 1503, you're not going to get video evidence of it. Like you're not going to get eyewitness reports, you know. So obviously, like the church is going to say, well, no, it didn't happen. I mean, the church isn't going to say, yeah, well, obviously. And the people that are accusing him are going to say, yes, it did. Actually, who accused him? So Rodrigo Borgia faced controversial from political rivals. Pope Alexander VI's papacy was marked by political intrigue and power struggle in Italy and Europe. So other families, such as the Orsini and the Colonna families, accused him of corruption, nepotism, and immoral behavior as a means to undermine his authority. Figures like Girolamo Salvorana and Dominican Flair condemned the moral decadence and corruption they perceived within the church. There's basically like many families that are condemning him. But again, you know, like with all things that happened before my grandmother was in diapers, it's very difficult to tell. Shikiryu is Mommy Morrigan's favorite rap. It's true. Thank you for the donation, by the way. I appreciate it. You know, instead of donating super chats, you can donate free art. Like that. That would also be interesting. Turns out we all have just written accounts. Well, the thing is, most of the stuff that's written from medieval time period, they are very biased because like the people writing them, they obviously either worked under the king, so it's very rare that they get to shit talk the king, or they were writing on behalf of another king, and they, like in this case, they were writing on behalf of influential Italian families, and they were writing shit about whomever they had as rivals. This was the program that the bank had and incentivized people to get good grade. Mula mula. That's actually quite cute. It's all speculation. Is it? It is. No, unironically, like the further back you go, like you get nonsense like you got from the BBC saying that some Roman emperor was trans. Like, really? And no one knew until today. That's very interesting. Clearly not a case of presenteeism. We should invade and conquer the Vatican. Then we find out what's in the vaults and the books that they keep hidden. I genuinely think it may be just books that contradict the dogma. Like at this point, it's so fucking boring. Like you wouldn't be that interested. Like probably back in the day, maybe. Like for example, I think there was like a gospel which is not considered canon, and it shows like the life of Jesus Christ when he was an adolescent. And part of it is, I think like Jesus turns a kid into stone or some shit, right? And basically like they don't like that. And there was another gospel which is written by a woman, which if true, it means that women could be priests. So there are like a couple of, you can look it up on the internet, right? So I think that's the type of shit that the Vatican has as books hidden away, whiskered away. Yeah, like fanfic gospels. um, there was a robot trans emperor. He is the worst hero to save people. Killed him because he was an abusive tyrant. What, like Nero? Like Nero wasn't trans. Like he dressed like a woman, but he didn't identify as a woman. In fact, it's considered like if you say a cross-dresser, that they are considering offensive to the trans ideology. The Vatican has occultist books on Vatican, but most are just fanfic made by priests. I do believe that. Yes. There are a bunch of gospels from before the Bible. There is one where Jesus fights a dragon. That's fucking cool. The thing is, like, the Bible is not just one book. It's like a collection of books. And the church got to decide which books are canon and which ones aren't. I don't care enough to make the difference. Much worse than Nero, much worse than Caligula. There was definitely a transgender emperor, and he was evil. I don't know. I mean, I haven't studied all the Roman emperors. Unless they conquered a lot of shit, I probably didn't read about them. Then the Templars came and they burned the OG text. The Mormon book is technically an expansion for the Bible. No, it's more like a spin-off. It's more like the expansion for the Bible, I would say, is Islam. Mormon is kind of like a spin-off. It's like, but what if Jesus visited America? Right? It's kind of like you have, like, I don't know, the Flintstones, but you're like, what if the Flintstones existed in the modern times and you make a TV show? It's kind of like that. You know, the Flintstones meet the Jetsons type of thing. Islam is alternative. No, it's the continuation from the Bible. I'm not kidding. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Any Muslim in the chat. Isn't I like basically saying, well, God didn't write... Like, God didn't do a good job with the Old Testament, with the Torah. He didn't do a good job with the New Testament. But, like, Islam gets it right. So they actually believe that Jesus was a thing, right? Like, they believe that Jesus was a prophet. It's just that they don't believe that he was the son of God. So it's basically like that. It's like, if you read the Quran, like, the Bible is mostly true. Just like 40K, everything is canon. No. Yeah, it does exist in Islam. No, it's not a spin-off of the Bible. It's literally the sequel. He isn't the son of God. Well, they made a little bit of, what did they call it? Hold on, they have a name for it. Not a retraction. When you change the continuity. Yeah, I forgot. I'll probably remember it. Lotus Eater covered the Trans Emperor. It was Bel and Sargon. It's true, and it does not reflect well on anyone. Okay, I see. A retcon. Yes, they retconned it. Oh, fuck yeah, yeah. The retcon. Yeah, that's the word that should be used. Yeah, if you delete the old material and remake it, it's called a retcon. But it's not like the entire material is deleted. It's just like that particular part that Jesus is the Son of God. Well, not to mention, it's pretty important, but like everything else that Jesus did is still there, right? So they just retcon that part. Islam doesn't believe that Jesus revived. Yeah. But again, you know, like all the way up until that part, like him walking with the donkeys and doing the water into wine thing, like all of that is there. It's kind of like a revisionism. Yes, that's what you would say. Yeah, like a biblical revisionism. Oh yeah, did you know that there's a Judas gospel as well? Which is kind of weird that that's not included, but I guess like you can understand why. Although like take into account that if you were to travel back in time and you would prevent Judas from Judaing Jesus, you would not have the crucifixion, which is important to wash away the sin of the future generations. So I don't know why they hate Judas so much. Like, he was part of the plan. He was definitely part of the plan. Why do we care about the religion from another part of the world? I mean, religion's not ideas. It doesn't really matter in which part of the world. Like if you are with the concept that religion has borders, that your religion probably is not true, right? That actually is interesting, the fact that religions have borders. It's almost like people don't really get to hear out most religions and then make up their own mind, which means like people are just born into a religion and they adopt the one that their parents have, with small exceptions. Just like Star Wars never accepts retcons. Just, the topic of heresy. My soft spot for heresy of choice is that vainglory and pride are different. Let me ask ChatGPT about the Judas Gospel. Gospel of Judah is a Gnostic gospel that was discovered in 1970 in the desert of Egypt. What is that, another thing? Non-canonic and apocryphal text, meaning is not part of the New Testament canon. The text is believed to have been written in the 2nd century and is attributed to Judas. In the Gnostic perspective, the Gospel of Judas, considered a Gnostic text, reflects the beliefs and teachings of certain Gnostic Christian sects. This is a diverse and complex religious and philosophical movement that often emphasizes the pursuit of hidden knowledge. Gnosis, which means salvation. Unlike the canonical Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which generally portray Jesus as the betrayer of Jesus, the Gospel of Judas presents a different narrative. In the Gospel, Judas is depicted as a trusted disciple who carries out Jesus' request to betray him to the authorities. The text suggests that Judas' actions were in the line with Jesus' plan for salvation. To be honest, though, like that, I always got that impression. Like, I always got the impression it's like, okay, well, the sacrifice needs to happen, right? Like, Jesus needs to die on the cross. So, like, regardless if he asked Judas or not, like, that was part of the plan. The Gospel of Judas contained dialogue between Jesus and Judas in which Jesus imparts the secret teachings. These teachings are often presented to the Gnostic framework, emphasizing spiritual knowledge and the liberation of the soul. The only known copy of the Gospel of Judas is a Coptic, an Egyptian language manuscript, dating from the 4th century. It was discovered in 1970. The manuscript was in a fragile state when it was found, and it took several decades of conservation to study it before it could be deciphered and translated. The National Geographic Society played a prominent role in the translation. The Gospel of Judas has sparked considerable debate among scholars, theologians, and the general public. Some view it as a valuable historical and religious document, while others view it as a heresy. While the Gospel of Judah offers a unique perspective on the Iscariot and early Christian thought, it is not considered a reliable historical account by mainstream Christian traditions, and it is not included in the New Testament canon. Instead, it is studied primarily through the insights of Gnostic Christianity. You know, I'm actually like really curious if they would find something that they would consider canon. Like if Christians would accept it. Like if the church just came out, hey, you know, like we found this book. It's like 2 centuries after Jesus died, so like maybe it's true, and like here are the new teachings of Christianity. Apparently, CO2 is harmful for the environment, and it's going to bring about the end of the world, and we need to believe in Greta Thunberg. It says so right here. Well, would people believe it though? Like that's my question. Would they buy it? I don't think so. Then again, who knows? Right. Never trust agnostic. Symbolism is important for people. Thing is, it doesn't really contradict like the established interpretations, right? Like no, seriously, think about it. Like there are many sermons which says that God sent his son to be sacrificed to wash away our sins, right? Like that's literally how it's presented. Now, whether Judas betrayed Jesus by his own volition or because Jesus asked him to, does it really make that much difference? Because it's part of the plan, isn't it? Like that's literally why he came on earth, is to die for our sins. So therefore, anyway, right. I should go and make my videos for my lack of entertainment channel, because today I worked too much on my video game. I will see you guys there. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I was entertaining. And I'll see you later. Take care.